table going, "Oh, you don't like it? Eat my ass," or something.
Right.
What's gonna happen to me? You know.
Exactly.
I don't know. What was okay? And you probably went to a lot of when you were younger, like at local high schools and stuff. But what was like the best show that you remember vividly?
Funny enough, the best shows were the ones that there was an indie promotion local in Columbus that ran down here quite a bit, and we kind of follow them around a little bit. But it was essentially every show was a bunch of unknowns local with maybe one star brought in.
Yeah.
But the shows were so good because it was right, like still within almost post the Attitude Era. So, you know, all those indie promotions were thriving and trying to copy a lot of the stuff. So it was always really good. And they would just bring in guys. Like I remember one time they brought in Tommy Rich and they put him in the main event and he juiced, but he hit something. So he was like gushing blood everywhere and had to be carried out. I was like, that was amazing.
Wow. Tommy Rich at that too, on top of it. What year was that?
Had to be maybe like 2002.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. The weirdest one, I don't know if it was the best, but it had Tatanka on it. It was like, I want to say late, maybe 98, 99, when he had just left WWF or Television General. And he had a hardcore match. And for some reason, they were doing like, it was an indie guy he was working, so I don't remember his name. But the promotion was NWL out by where I grew up. And it just reminded me there was Sabu spots. There was all kinds of stuff. And it was Tatanka. And I remember like the whole gymnasium. And this was when wrestling was red hot. So shows back then were packed, at least where I was. They really were. Now they barely fill up half the gym. But then, man, it was crazy. And the whole place started chanting ECW. And I remember one of my coaches getting on he wasn't affiliated with the promotion at all, but one of the dickhead coaches at the school, like getting on the mic telling people either chant the real promotion's name or we're going to stop the show. And I was like, I'll always remember. Yeah, I'll always remember. And I'm looking back, I don't remember like anything else really except that from the show. But if I was one of those workers of the promoter, I would have been fucking livid that a coach at the school might have did that. I mean, the fact that the fans are into it at all for an indie show like that, an Outlaw, should be something. Just be happy. Fucking
go with whatever they want whatever they want to happen, go with it.
But okay, you know the spot where like Sabu sets the chair, like you're gonna sit on it, but like the air Sabu like into the corner. Tatanka did that, I remember in the match, like on the outside of the ring too, on a basketball floor. Like it was a hardcore match with Tatanka, and I don't know why it even happened to this day. But I was there and I'll never forget it. Ever.
That's fucking crazy.
Tatanka is ageless, by the way. Does that man fucking age a day? Worst, Drew. There's probably some humdingers for your worst experience.
Yeah, I can remember the first show I ever went to. It was a TV taping for WWF right after Mania 9-ish, and I'll say it was the worst only because those TV tapings it was endless, and you'd see the same guys over and over and over and over. But the one cool thing about that show was, well, being 9 and getting to see Hogan was always good, but Steiner Brothers won their first tag team title there, untelevised.
Nice.
And that didn't happen a whole lot. That was kind of cool.
No, it didn't. They always did it like that then too. Like champions would like at least tag champions in like 92, 93, 94 would never win on a pay-per-view television. It was always at a house, like Natural Disasters won on a house show.
Mm-hmm. And you're always thinking this is going to be some kind of joke, or it's going to be like they Dusty Rule or something, and then you see on TV like they're showing the home clip from the audience or whatever, and I was like, damn, cool.
Yeah, that's awesome though. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I try to get out to them sometimes. It's when I take my kids now though, it's all about them at this point for me. Like it's still cool. Yeah. So like when it's a nostalgic guy, of course I eat that shit up and try to talk to him and stuff. I got to start filming it, or not filming them, but just like interviewing them for spots on the channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
For it. Usually, the guys out here that usually make the run, the usual suspects are Tom Brandy's, Virgil, King Kong Bundy, Jesus Christ, Samu from the Head Shrinkers is actually started at one of the wrestling schools out here with John Rambo.
Nice.
Those are the usual suspects in this area, though. Definitely Tom Brandy, too, especially he's the Patriot now because he bought the gimmick or whatever.
Yeah. I had so the promotion I was talking about, the indie one out of Columbus, I made a couple friends through that were wrestlers for that promotion, and we just kind of hung out. And one of them I hadn't seen in a really long time, and then they had a show like 40 minutes south of here, so I went down and met up with him. He was like, "Yeah, just come back in the locker room and we'll hang out for a little bit, and then after my match we can catch up and go get Waffle House or whatever." Like, okay. I go back in the locker room. I'm just sitting there, and on one side is the Barbarian, and on the other side was Ricky Morton. I was like, "What the fuck? Like, this is some crazy shit."
Yeah.
Like, anybody else would just be like, "Yeah, okay." I'm like, "Fuck, Ricky Morton, Barbarian."
I'm not going to name names, but I've heard a lot of. Okay, I knew a couple guys around here that were workers and whatnot, and they did some partying with Jimmy Snuka, Ricky Morton, Roddy Piper. Certain substances were involved. I've heard some tremendous stories, especially with Ricky Morton. Like, and not abuse. I know he's cleaned up his act. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to put him on blast, but see, apparently one of the best storytellers ever is Ricky Morton. Sit around and just.
Oh, I bet. I haven't caught his podcast yet, but I hear good things.
You know what it is about Morton? Yes, I get that he could be better sometimes. I would too, quite frankly, if people like Nash were making, as opposed to like Ricky Morton busting his ass back in the day. I get that, but he's one of those guys who like that just came off the realist in pro wrestling. Like he'll just going to tell you how it is. He's been through the trenches. He's fucking come out both sides. He's seen both sides of the fence.
And those are the guys I want to hear from.
Exactly. I don't want to listen to Paul Levesque spew me PR answers for an hour. I want to listen to Ricky Morton. But yeah, that was, if anything, one of the best parts about pro wrestling in general is the organic experience of an Outlaw Indie show experience. I suggest everybody get at least one under your belt. They're fun, and they're cheap, and they're affordable. Especially if you got kids. Kids usually get in free most of the time. So there you go.
I think the major thing is go or it'll go away. Like, I totally believe it would go away.
Yeah. I mean, you got to start somewhere, and that is one of the foundations for the pro wrestling industry in general, or promotions like this. That's where guys start. You need that.
Mm-hmm.
That's as important as a Little League baseball field to MLB, in a way.
Do you want like a whole roster of Mojo Raleighs? No.
Exactly. That was the most intuitive and depressing thing I've ever heard. Drew Ortman, thank you for joining me for this mini version of Hibiki Highspots, Indie Memories. Where can I check out?
Absolutely. At Drew Ortman, at Kayfabe Today, kayfabetoday.com.
There you have it. Thank you again. I'll see you when we draw some dimes on Grapple Vision. Put the glasses on. See you then. Hibiki Highspots.
Thanks, man.